The avoidance Ethan worked in the lower levels of Orion Station, fixing cables, cleaning old machines, and keeping his head down. He was a human among many species, and he liked it that way. Quiet, unnoticed, safe. Orion Station was huge, full of lights, ships, and voices from 100 worlds. Aliens walked openly in the halls, some tall, some glowing, some with eyes like fire. Humans were new to this part of space, and most of them stayed careful. There was one rule everyone followed: do not get close to the alien princess. Her name was Lyra of the Silver Crown. She was royalty from a powerful alien race, respected and feared across the galaxy. People said her species could feel thoughts, bend energy, and break minds. People also said those who got too close to her always suffered. Ethan heard the rumors like everyone else. Some said guards vanished after meeting her. Some said she brought bad luck. Some said she was cursed, so Ethan avoided her. He learned her walking routes. He changed corridors when her name appeared on the station's schedule. If he sensed her presence, he turned around without looking back, not because he hated her, but because survival mattered more than curiosity. From a distance, he sometimes saw her. She walked with calm grace, silver blue skin glowing softly under station lights. Her eyes looked ancient, heavy, like they had seen too much. Guards followed her, but she always looked alone. Ethan told himself it was not his problem. Princesses did not need mechanics. Aliens did not need humans. That was how the galaxy worked. But the avoidance became harder each day. One cycle. Ethan was repairing a power node near the royal wing. He did not realize where he was until it was too late. The lights dimmed, the air felt heavy, and the corridor went silent. Her guards were there, standing still like statues, and between them stood Lyra. Ethan froze. His heart began to race. He lowered his eyes and tried to step back slowly. "Stop," a soft voice said. It was not a command, it was tired. Ethan stopped without thinking. He felt exposed, like the station itself was watching him. "You have avoided me for weeks," Lyra said. Her voice was calm, but it carried pain. Ethan swallowed. "I did not mean disrespect," he said quietly. "I just have work to do." "That is not the truth," she replied. "You see me, then you run." He did not know what to say. Humans were not trained to speak to alien royalty, especially not one surrounded by fear. Lyra stepped closer, ignoring her guards. Ethan could see her eyes clearly now. They were not cold, they were wet. "Do humans fear me that much?" she asked. Her voice cracked slightly. Ethan looked up without meaning to. He saw tears forming, glowing faintly as they fell. An alien princess, crying in a silent corridor. "I do not hate you," Ethan said honestly. "I was told to stay away." Lyra laughed softly, but it sounded broken. "That is all anyone ever does," she said. "They look at my crown, not my heart." The station alarms hummed far away. Life continued elsewhere, unaware of this moment. Lyra wiped her tears and met his eyes. "You are the first human who did not stare at me," she said. "You are the first who chose distance instead of desire." Ethan felt something shift inside him. This was not a monster. This was not a curse. This was someone alone. "I never wanted to hurt you," Lyra whispered. "I just wanted to be seen." Before Ethan could answer, her guards stepped forward. The moment ended as quickly as it began. Lyra turned away, but her final words stayed with him. "Soon, I will have no one left to speak to." As Ethan stood alone in the corridor, one thought echoed in his mind. Avoiding her had been easy. Living with that choice would not be. The princess's Secre. Ethan could not forget the sound of Lyra's voice. It stayed with him as he worked, as he walked, as he tried to sleep. Her tears haunted his thoughts more than any rumor ever had. For days after that meeting, he expected trouble. He thought guards would question him. He thought someone would warn him to stay away. But nothing happened. The station moved on, cold and silent. Ethan tried to return to his old habits. He focused on broken wires and failing systems. He avoided the royal wing again, but this time, it felt wrong. Lyra did not appear in the halls anymore. Her presence was missing. Like a light turned off, the whispers grew louder. Some said the princess was sick. Some said she was being isolated for safety. One quiet cycle, Ethan received an unexpected message. It was short and unsigned. "Meet me where engines sleep." Ethan knew he should ignore it. Humans did not meet alien royalty in secret places, but his feet moved before his fear could stop him. The engine bay was massive and dark. Old ships rested like giants at peace. Blue lights flickered softly in the distance. She was there. Lyra stood alone this time. No guards, no crown. Her skin looked dimmer, like she was tired of shining. "You came," she said softly. There was surprise in her voice. "I did," Ethan replied. He stood at a safe distance, unsure. "I wanted to thank you," Lyra said, "for not looking at me like an object." They stood in silence for a moment. Then Lyra spoke again, slower now. "My people believe emotions are weakness," she said. "We are taught to hide them from birth. A ruler must never cry." Ethan listened without interrupting. Humans were good at listening when it mattered. When humans arrived, Lyra continued, "I hoped it would be different, but fear spreads faster than truth." She turned away from him. "My title protects me," she said, "but it also traps me." Ethan finally asked the question, burning inside him. "Why are you really here on this station?" Lyra hesitated. Then she answered in a whisper, "I am waiting." "For what?" Ethan asked. "For judgment," she replied. She explained the truth. An ancient alien force slept beyond the stars. Her species believed only royal blood could calm it. The council wanted to use her as a living key. "They call it duty," Lyra said. "But I call it a slow death." Ethan felt anger rise inside him, sharp and sudden. "They cannot just decide that," he said. "They already have," Lyra replied. "My fate was written before I ever met you." She looked at him then, truly looked at him. "You avoided me because you were afraid," she said. "But you are still here." Ethan realized she was right. Fear had brought him close instead of pushing him away. "Why tell me?" he asked. "Because humans fight fate," Lyra said softly. "You do not accept silent endings." A distant alarm echoed through the bay. Time was running out. "If the council discovers this meeting," Lyra said, "they will silence you." Ethan did not step back. For the first time, he stepped forward. "Then they will have to explain why," he said. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. In that moment, hope appeared where fear once lived. "Be careful, Ethan," she warned. "The galaxy does not forgive defiance." As she left the engine bay, one truth became clear. Avoidance had ended, and choice had begun. The human SHOICDth truth Lyra shared changed everything inside Ethan. Work felt empty now, like moving parts without meaning. Every cable he fixed reminded him that someone powerful had decided her life was a tool. The Galactic Council gathered above the station, in a chamber of light and shadow. Representatives from many species watched in silence. Their faces showed logic, not mercy. Ethan was not meant to be there. Humans did not sit in that chamber. Humans repaired the flaws beneath it, but Ethan listened from the lower levels. He heard fragments of the council's decision through leaked channels. The ancient force was waking. The princess would be offered soon. Lyra avoided him after that meeting, not because she wanted distance, but because she was protecting him. Ethan understood too late. Silence was her shield. That night, he stood alone near the observation window. Stars burned across the dark like scattered fire. Humans once looked at skies like this and dreamed. Now they were part of it, but still treated as small. Ethan thought of Earth, of stories where humans stood up when no one else would, of people who refused to accept quiet injustice. A message arrived on his device. Lyra's symbol flashed briefly, then vanished. Only one word remained. Tomorrow. Fear hit him hard. He knew what that meant. Tomorrow was Judgment Day. He had a choice: stay silent and live, or speak and become a target. No one asked him to be brave. No one promised safety. But something inside him refused to let fear decide. The next cycle, the council chamber opened. Energy walls shimmered. Guards lined every path. And then a human voice broke the silence. "This decision is wrong." Heads turned. Shock spread through the chamber. Ethan stepped forward from the shadows. His hands shook, but his voice held. "You call it balance," he said, "but it is execution." The council leader spoke coldly. "Human, you have no standing here." Ethan did not stop. "She is not a key, she is a person." Murmurs filled the chamber. Some aliens looked away, others watched with interest. Lyra stood at the center, bound by light. Her eyes met Ethan's, wide with fear and something more. "Leave," the leader ordered. "This does not concern your species." "It does," Ethan replied, "because humans do not survive by obedience alone." Security moved toward him, but Ethan raised his voice. "If you sacrifice her," he said, "you teach every human that this council values power over life." Silence followed, heavy and dangerous. Lyra shook her head slightly, warning him, but Ethan stayed where he was. You are afraid of the ancient force, he continued, but you should be afraid of what humans become when pushed. The leader's eyes narrowed. Remove him. As guards closed in, Ethan made his final choice. He would not step back. Not now. Not ever. As he was dragged away, Lyra screamed his name. The sound echoed through the chamber and across the station. Betrayal and SBAC Ethan did not expect mercy. The council's guards dragged him through cold, shining halls. Every step echoed like a warning. His heart pounded, not with fear, but with determination. Above the station, the stars were silent. Ships moved in calculated patterns. Some carried humans, some aliens, all obeying orders blindly. Inside a transport ship, Ethan saw faces he thought were allies, but whispers reached him quickly. Some humans had sided with the council, hoping for safety. Some aliens smirked at his defiance. Only a few looked away, ashamed. Ethan clenched his fists. Betrayal was bitter, but expecting, he had chosen to act, and action always carried a price. The ship jolted violently, alarms screaming through the metal corridors. Guards shouted orders. Outside, streaks of light indicated fast ships approaching. Someone wanted Ethan gone, permanently. Then, a shock of blue energy cut through the transport bay. Ethan froze. A familiar glow filled the room. Lyra had arrived. She floated above the floor, her eyes shining like twin stars. Her hands crackled with energy, bending reality softly around her. The guards stumbled back, unsure, afraid. Step aside, she said. Her voice, calm but strong. No one harms him. Ethan's breath caught. The princess he had avoided, the one who had made him face his own fear, now stood as his protector. The transport doors opened violently. The chase began. Lyra guided them through the narrow channels of the station. Energy pulses, destroyed cameras, doors, anything in their path. Ethan realized the truth. Lyra was not a weapon. She was a force of nature, and he had the rare chance to survive it. But the council had prepared. A trap awaited as they neared the docking bay. Another ship fired. The transport rocked. Metal screamed under pressure. Ethan was thrown to the floor. Pain shot through his side. Lyra's eyes glowed fiercely. She unleashed a burst of energy. The attacking ship veered away, but the transport was damaged badly. Ethan scrambled to stand. I can't survive a fall from here, he thought, but Lyra's voice rang in his mind. Hold on, Ethan, she said. Trust me. Another strike of energy. The ship lifted slightly, shaking violently, but it moved toward a hidden docking bay, one only she knew. Even as chaos erupted, Ethan saw the betrayal clearly. Those he counted on were gone. Only Lyra remained, and now the station itself seemed to resist them. Alarms and warnings everywhere. Then, with a final pulse, the transporter crashed into the hidden bay. Metal screeched and sparks flew. Ethan lay on the floor, barely breathing. Dust and smoke filled the small room. He looked up, expecting Lyra to be gone, but she hovered above, glowing faintly, her eyes worried, yet relieved. Are you alive? She asked, her voice breaking slightly. Ethan nodded, weakly. Pain ran through his body, but he was alive. The bay doors sealed behind them, quiet returning. For a moment, it was just them. Two unlikely allies in a galaxy full of betrayal and fear, and Ethan realized something he had never understood before. Avoiding her had been easy, but surviving with her would demand courage beyond anything he had ever known. From outside the bay, distant alarms and flashing lights continued. The council would not give up, and the galaxy was about to learn what happens when humans refuse to stay silent. Ethan gritted his teeth. The fight was far from over, but for the first time, he did not feel alone. Lyra was with him, and together, they could challenge anything. Humanity's rage. Ethan lay on the floor of the hidden docking bay, catching his breath. Every muscle ached, every movement hurt, but he was alive, and that mattered more than anything. Lyra knelt beside him, her glow softer now. Her hands hovered over his wounds. Not healing, but comforting. You survived because you refused to give up, she said. I feared for you more than for myself. Ethan shook his head, pain-making, his words slow. It's not just me, he said. Humans will not let anyone decide their lives without choice. He realized something then, something bigger than fear or power. Humans did not survive by obeying. They survived by standing up, by fighting when it mattered. Above them, the council moved quickly, sending ships and forces to capture them. But word of Ethan's defiance had spread. Humans across the station rallied, refusing to be silent, refusing to hide. Some joined him openly, others sent messages, supplies, warnings. The council's carefully controlled system began to falter. Their confidence wavered. For the first time, humans were a force to be reckoned with. Lyra watched, eyes wide. As humans she had once thought weak took courage in stride. Ethan stood, gripping a console for balance. His voice rose over the alarms, and shouting, "We are not gods," he said. "We are not perfect, but we never abandon our own, and we never abandon sisters silently." The council's leaders narrowed their eyes, unsure how to respond. The alien representatives whispered among themselves. Their power was great, but the humans' determination was growing faster. Lyra stepped forward, standing beside Ethan, her hands glowing faintly, her voice calm but firm. "You see them," she said to the council. "You see their choice. This is not weakness. This is strength." Outside the docking bay, humans gathered in small groups, armed with whatever they had, ready to defend, ready to fight. Energy beams flashed in the distance, but morale could not be broken. The council realized that control alone would not work. They had underestimated the human will. Ethan took a deep breath. Feeling the weight of his species behind him, he realized that his defiance was not reckless. It was inevitable. Humans did not survive by fear. They survived by courage, by rage and injustice, by refusing to let others decide their fate. Lyra looked at him with respect, admiration growing in her eyes. "You are different," she said softly. "Your people are different, and maybe that is why you survive." The council tried to strike again, sending more ships and forces, but humans, united by Ethan's courage, resisted. The station shook, alarms screamed, but humans pressed on. Their hearts burned with pride and anger, and in that chaos, Ethan realized a truth he had always felt deep inside. Humans may not be the strongest, they may not have the oldest power, but they fight with heart, and no force in the galaxy could ignore that. The battle was far from over, but humanity's rage had begun, and the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. Lyra stepped closer to Ethan, tears and relief shining in her eyes. "You were right," she whispered. "We are stronger together, and maybe, together, we can survive anything." Ethan nodded, determination settling in his chest. The fight was not over, but hope had arrived, and this time, humans would not look away. Tears of the princess, the hidden docking bay was quiet now. Smoke drifted from damaged panels, lights flickered weakly. Ethan and Lyra stood among the chaos, both exhausted, both alive, both changed. For weeks, fear had ruled the station. For weeks, the council had believed their plan would succeed, but now, after resistance, after courage, after defiance, the tide had turned. Lyra lowered her hands, the glow fading. Her eyes, once full of guarded pain, now glimmered with something softer, relief, gratitude, and hope, all mixed together. She stepped closer to Ethan, trembling slightly. Tears welled up in her eyes again, but this time, they were not tears of loneliness or fear. They were tears of trust, of connection, of freedom. "I avoided humans for so long," she whispered. "I never thought anyone would stand for me, but you refused to run, you refused to look away." Ethan shook his head, softly. "I only did what I could not ignore," he said. "I could not let them decide your life." Lyra smiled faintly, wiping her tears. "You have shown me something no royal lesson ever could," she said, "that humans are not weak, that courage is stronger than fear, and that life is not meant to be sacrificed quietly." The distant hum of the station returned, alarms fading. The council's influence was broken, for now. Humans and aliens alike watched from afar, witnessing the moment. A quiet but powerful lesson had been made clear across the station. Ethan looked at her, heart pounding. All the rumors, all the fear, all the stories about alien royalty had faded. Lyra was no monster, no curse. She was someone trapped by tradition, someone in need of choice, and together they had challenged the impossible. She reached out her hand to him, not as a princess demanding respect, but as a being grateful for humanity. "Thank you," she whispered, "for seeing me, for standing with me, for surviving." Ethan took her hand, firm and steady. "No one should face that alone," he said, "and no one should decide their fate without a voice." From the corridors beyond the bay, whispers began to spread, of courage, of defiance, of humanity standing tall. The galaxy had learned a new lesson, that humans never give up, that humans never look away. Lyra's tears fell freely now, but they were not a sign of weakness. They were proof of trust, of bond, of hope, and in that small, quiet docking bay, two unlikely allies smiled, knowing the fight was not over, but that together, they could face anything. The stars outside the station burned bright, witnessing the moment when fear lost to courage, when tradition bowed to choice, and when humanity, for the first time, had truly made the galaxy notice. Ethan and Lyra stood together, tears, sweat, and relief marking their faces, and one truth echoed silently. That day, the galaxy learned why humans never look away.